Joining me now from outside the White House is PBS NewsHour's White House correspondent Yamiche Alcindor. Yamiche, the president laid out what he says is a reasonable proposal. He didn't do this in consultation with Democrats. It's out there. He's talking about border security, DACA, TPS. How's this likely to be received?
Well, the president is saying that essentially young immigrants and immigrants who are fleeing natural disasters, that they can stay in the United States for an extra 3 years if he gets what he described as a steel border barrier. Democrats have already rejected that idea, and they rejected it before the president even began speaking, which is remarkable. I want to read to you what Nancy Pelosi said, again, before the president even started speaking. She said his proposal is a compilation of several previously rejected initiatives. She said they do not represent a good faith effort to restore certainty to people's lives. I also want to tell you that I've been talking and emailing with immigrant activists, and they all say the president is basically bargaining with immigrant families. They're saying, look, you can keep your children, but your grandmother or your mother might not be able to come here. That's a big problem for immigrant activist groups and also for Democrats who think that the president is basically saying, I will give you all these initiatives that I already said I didn't want, and now you can have them if you give me what I want. I don't think that this is going to pass the House because Speaker Nancy Pelosi, as I said, does not want to bring that up for a vote.
So what about the possibility of something like this getting through the Senate? It looks like this was done in some consultation with Mitch McConnell.
Well, it sounds as though Mitch McConnell and Senate Republicans are behind this proposal. The president, in his comments, said that he had already talked to Mitch McConnell and that he had pledged to bring this to a vote in the Senate. That's remarkable in that the president has been in close contact with Senate Republicans. Vice President Pence was actually in the Capitol and talking to Republicans last week as the shutdown continued and stretched on. But the big problem here is still that Democrats are critical here. Before, Republicans controlled all parts of the government. Now the president has to deal with a Democrat-controlled House, and that's where this is going to be stopped. And again, immigrants and immigrant activist groups and Democrats are saying that the president is basically just saying, here's an offer that I can give you that you don't really that I know you're not going to really want.
No, is there a credibility gap here in the negotiations? People trusting what the other party is going to say and actually do?
I think there is a big credibility issue here. I want to read to you what one immigrant activist texted me today. He said of President Trump, 1, he is not credible. No one believes him or that he wouldn't change his mind tomorrow. 2, his proposals are temporary patches that the courts have already given us. And 3, it's total BS to tie the shutdown to immigrants' rights movements. So what we have is really a group of Democrats and a group of immigrant activists saying, we don't believe that this president is really wanting immigrants here. I have to remind people that some of the immigrants that President Trump is talking about, they're from the countries that the president said were S-hole countries. These are countries like Haiti, like Nigeria, where people fled their countries, fled hurricanes and earthquakes to come to America to try to get a better life. And the president is saying, hey, I think that you're equal. I think that we should all work on this together. And people just simply don't believe him.
All right, Yamiche Alcindor of PBS NewsHour, our White House correspondent, joining us from there today. Thanks so much.
Thanks.